crusade by pastor and an international evangelist, Ezekiel from Kenya.
Shine, shine, shine. You shine and you shine. And just in the name of Jesus.
It will be held from 13th to 17th August 2025 at Zambia Chirombe Grounds, Kampala. Time 8 a.m. Come and take your miracle.
Mwenna abantu b'ekirombe mwenna abali awo mujje mu lukuŋŋaana. The Lord will seriously bless you.
All you are welcome.
Musumba Ezekiel okuva Kenya, musajja wa Katonda, Mukama amukozesa. Mujje mu crusade egenda okubeera ekirombe, manye obulamu bwammwe tebugenda kusigala kyekimu.
Uganda, are you ready for the biggest revival explosion? New Reference Center the Church presents a revival healing crusade by pastor and an international evangelist, Ezekiel from Kenya.
Shine, shine, shine. You shine and you shine. And just in the name of Jesus.
It will be held from 13th to 17th August 2025 at Zambia Chirombe Grounds, Kampala. Time 8 a.m. Come and take your miracle.
Mwenna abantu b'ekirombe mwenna abali awo mujje mu lukuŋŋaana. The Lord will seriously bless you.
All you are welcome.
My name is Erica Murunchi and welcome to Be Inspired by Erica. So today I want to talk about personal hygiene. Personal hygiene is not just a habit, it is a way of life. By maintaining personal hygiene, you will reduce stress, improve on your focus, show respect for yourself and others around you, to the people around you. Take care of your space and your life. Keep your room tidy, wash your hands, cut your fingernails, comb your hair, brush your teeth, and many others. Take care of your space and your life. Brush your teeth, make your bed, bathe, cut your fingernails, comb your hair, and many others. Make cleanliness a habit. Personal hygiene should be a priority.
Don't miss on U24.
Entrepreneurs Hub, giving you a deep and unique insight into agribusiness, services, ICT and innovation, industrialization and so much more. Entrepreneurs Hub, growing your small, medium and large business entity. With yours truly, Sandra Kahunde.
Basajabaka, also a lawyer from the Law Development Center. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching us, and we are glad to have you. My name is John Vianney Ayoware. I'm the Guild President at the Law Development Center, and this evening I'm sitting in for Ivan Tumukunde, who is indisposed and is unable to be with us this evening. Right away we start, and I want to start with Crispus. Business in Uganda, a recipe to national development. What do we need to know?
Thank you, Vianney. To our dear viewers, greetings. As well introduced, my name is Kakande Crispus. I am a lawyer, but also a youth leader from Nakaseke district.
Oh.
Talking of the topic tonight,
I hope Nakaseke people are following closely.
They must be sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Talking about the topic tonight, business. Briefly, I can say business is the engagement in activities, be it commercial, industrial, or professional, majorly dealing in goods and service, and the ultimate goal is making profits. That is the brief about business. So business plays a major role in shaping a nation when it comes to economic stability And then the ultimate goal, national development.
Thank you very much. Ezra, I want you to come in here, and he talks about national development. How is business related to national development, national stability? How are the two related?
Thank you once again. As you have said, I'm Ezra Nwahola. Maybe going straight to the question that you have asked me, that how business is related to national development and economic stability. You know, in business, as my comrade said, these people have to come in and there, they set up something, or even government can put up something to conduct business. Now, if you are to look at business and you want to develop, you just relate with what government or maybe the country has been doing in place. If you are to see, we have national development plans. We have NDP 4 now. We have just concluded NDP 3, and in all, when you see them, they talk about industrialization, they talk about ICT, innovation. There is because when they were ranking Uganda on the way how it uses ICT in its business, I think by the report of Global Innovations, it was around 114 out of 128 countries. You see that we are somehow behind. So
I wanted to get that statistic very well.
Yes.
It was 114 out of...
Yes, out of 128 countries. And all
and what does that mean?
All other East African countries were somehow, some of them, most of them were above us. Like what I'm trying to mean, or what those statistics are saying that in whatever we are doing, in whether Vian, whether Ezra is coming up to set up a business, just sets up, he doesn't understand the trends that are going on, he doesn't apply ICT. When you read those development plans, I think on page 30 there, you will find that they talk about STI, like social, then economic, engineering, technology, information, or innovations. Like, we are still lacking on that aspect. And when business lack the model strategy, even when that is the first sentence, that what is the strategy, national strategy in national development? When you read those 3 plans, there are other plans that were there even before independence or even post-independence, but we are talking of from 2011 to date. And we are talking of from NDP 3 and then this NDP 4 now we are in, that was adopted.
Thank you very much. I will be getting back to you, especially for you to enlighten us about NDP 4 and how businessmen and the law can be integrated to ensure that we move forward. But I want to come to Elvis. If someone is thinking of business, what are those key considerations? Because Uganda, I think we are one of the people who start businesses very fast, but we're also very good at seeing them collapse very fast. So what are those things that one must consider as he thinks of starting a business?
First of all, the considerations one should mainly put emphasis on while creating a business is to understand the nature of business they want to engage in. Basically, what that means is that in the legal world, in the legal field, remember we categorize businesses into companies, registering them into business names, NGOs, and companies limited by a guarantee. And when you know what you want to establish and create, if you want to create an NGO, that means you're not engaging in business, you're not aiming at earning profits. You get? So when you look at these other modules, single member companies, working under business name, companies registered in a, how do they call it? Profit-making companies, companies limited by shares. You get? So that means you should know what kind of business you're going to register. If it's a company limited by shares, you know that if it's a transportation business, digital marketing, be it industry, be it trade, whichever. So you have to look at the things that that mainly look at how how businesses are developed, like media. Right now, people are making money on online platforms, Twitter, where they advertise. You get, those are the external factors now that currently people should look at to improve their businesses on the ground level. Like in Uganda, they call it Omuiribi level. You get, because now that's the 2025 things that they are looking at, the technological development, whereby you look at people embracing using AI, you get, in their businesses, whereby someone just inboxes them on their global network, and then it redirects where they get instant replies through the systems that are run by the company. Now let me give an example. Like if it's a washing business, someone has a laundry washing business, you can look at people whereby they create a system whereby a client can easily redirect and track their clothes if they are completed or if they are not completed. That's an example of a business whereby now that person is using technology to help his clients get a better service, you get? So right now we are looking at a Uganda that is developing, and people should embrace using these tools and putting them to use and to advantage.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Elvis. I want to get back to Crispus. And this time around, I want you to take us the legal framework. There are market forces, like what Elvis has been explaining, before you start a business, what you must consider and all that. How about the law? Everything in this country is regulated. How is business regulated?
Thank you, Vianney. First, I should, I think, start on the fact, it's statistically a fact in our country that most of the businesses do operate informally. They are not regulated. They are under that, what they coined as the gray zone. Whereas it is advantageous to have businesses registered, but we still lack that. I don't know whether it is sensitization or it's the strictness in the law. I don't know the better way to put it. But I can say that it is advantageous to have businesses registered. Because having them registered comes with a lot, indeed a lot. For instance, when we talk about companies, and the law for that is the Companies Act, it is quite elaborate on how a person can get to register a company. And initially it was stringent in that you had to do a lot of forms, it was manual, but these days it can even be done online. You just have to fill, like they removed some of the recommendations of the MEMATs, those are the memorandums. You don't have to come up with big documents and doing all that. You can just do that online. And then there are also other modules like the partnerships, which ideally don't have to be registered, just have to come to a consensus. They're regulated by the Partnership Act, with an exception with maybe if you are using a generic name. For instance, if I'm using my real names, Kakandi.
To take you back on the MEMATs and removing documentation and all those requirements, and you say you can access online, but you also submitted that most of the businesses are not registered.
Yes.
So couldn't that be a challenge? Because most Ugandans, for example, access to internet is very limited. People don't have access to this IT or whatever. And do we know the registrars? Do Ugandans know that they are registrars? Where are they found? I mean, I think that could be the reason why most of them are not registered, because access to the services of registration and also the benefits of registration. Because once you speak of registration, someone will say, that's a lot, going through that a lot. And yet you're saying the process has been eased. So what could be the challenge? Why is it that still most of these businesses are not registered?
Thank you again, Vianney. Well, I do buy the idea that there is limited sensitization in that regard, but also there is what we call indoctrination. Largely our population, they think that when you get into registration, you're awakening the tax man. So in order to hide out what you're doing, they prefer operating undercover, which is wrong, because that's why these days you hear a lot of complaints that investors are given a lot of incentives. This is because they do their businesses openly, well established, and they can get those incentives, which are available even to the people, the lay people. But the problem is that they don't get their businesses registered, so they are limited to accessing such incentives. So largely, if we can do a lot of sensitization and tell the people the advantages that come with having your business registered, then it can be a good start to, to cure some of the queries and a lot of the informality that exists in our business sector.
Okay, thank you very much.
In addition to his submission, to throw more light, the host asked about the URSB, where they find registrars and all that. So right now, currently, in registering a company or any other business, there is a system, an online system established. It's called OBRS system, established by Uganda Registration Service Bureau. That's where you check. They have online platforms. They have offices, a mom house, whereby you can go, submit your application or access the application online as it is normally done currently, and then have your company registered or your business registered. So as earlier submitted by the colleague, you don't have to in any way avoid registering a business because you're thinking you're going to awaken the tax man. No. Don't register a company thinking that you're going to be paying taxes absorbently and so on. Basically, registration protects the interests of your company.
I see.
Yeah.
But also you pay taxes.
Some supplement. Since we are talking about like how to legalize our businesses, and majorly, and when we are talking about like URSB putting online system, I think maybe I'm not marketing for URSB, but I can at least credit it of what it has done. Because if you can look for the past years, and that's why they are saying that maybe lawyers are fighting it, but honestly, maybe they are even easing the work of the lawyers. Online system, this OBRS system, you can do it either on personal account and even on company's account. However, on the part of tax waking up the man, remember these are government agencies. All of them are pulling out resources. They are interconnected and they are pulling out resources to government fund. So these are the people, and even when you have tried, like recently, when you are registering a company, now it has to come with a TIN number. That's why some members of the society are running away. But there is a campaign of URSB that has been ongoing called Chiri Easy, like on how to register companies. Chiri Easy, like, okay, maybe all the viewers who need to know how you asked our colleague that where do we find registrars? If you cannot access a lawyer, at least access your phone. If you are using it for TikTok, at least tap there, how do I register my small shop? Because as you said, I recently, if I may recall well, even they put an incentive of 3 years for new upcoming businesses. That means if you have not registered, you will not benefit. It's like registration comes with legal ability and respect.
Yes, I think that's one of the benefits you have said. I want you to proceed and also give us, we are saying it is advantageous to the person registering. How advantageous exactly is it to register a business?
I can give you an example in terms, or maybe a scenario in terms of marriage. It's like cohabitation and church marriage. Or even before, we had, there was civil registration under URSB before being shifted to NILA. So me cohabiting with someone, when we are not registered, that means we are not appreciated under the law. That's how he was saying that we are operating undercovers. And when it comes to benefits, like if I want to get a loan, or I have an investor from outside, we want to pattern in business. We cannot just pattern from that friendship zone basis and maybe the government or we get business out there. Like youth, I recall PPDA, they gave out 30, they were saying that from 30 million to downwards, they should give them to the youth. And it is a privilege that all of us are here, the youth. But how can we bid? How can we get business from our district level or to supply something when we don't have a registered? And because they will ask those things, It's like when you are going to register for national ID and they fail to ask you birth certificate. It can't happen. That majorly, like, the effect of registration is you to do your business formally and recognized under the laws of Uganda, of which he was mentioning, that Companies Act Cap 106, Partnership Act, maybe if it is a law firm or joint venture, like you have you have, like, government or the country must know where you belong. If you are presenting something, it's like education. Are you at LDC? Yes, true. What shows? Did you pass from which campus? From which undergraduate? Where did you go? What can show that you were at MOOC? That's the benefit. Identity, identification, where you belong, which capacity do you have? Can you do something? Like they are putting in the contract. So that's why you see that we have some investors from outside. They are taking up businesses.
Thank you very much, Ezra. Crispus, I think most Ugandans, we lack sensitization in the world of business. Those who have attempted to do business, they have learned on job. In fact, some may confuse a business and a company. So when we say we are registering, he is registering a business similar as making a company. I want you to make that clarification. People should differentiate. But also, he has given us advantages of registering a business and all that. In terms of supporting the business, and here I'm speaking about finances, how can one use the chance of having the business registered to raise money? Because one of the reasons why businesses fail is there's no capital. Someone starts a business, after a few years, it collapses because he cannot replenish. Now, how can one use the chance of having it registered, but also using the same to raise capital?
Yeah, thank you, Vianney. First, making a business is different from registering a company. You know, we have this, that any man can make a business. I mean, anyone can start up something. But then when you take that initiative of making a company, you formalizing something in the way that you're separating you yourself from the business. So the business that is registered into a company becomes a juristic person in nature. In that, what I mean by juristic person is that it's an independent person in law. So it stands alone and you stand alone. You remember, law scholars know of that famous case of Salmon versus Salmon. Talks of a man who lent money to his business. And then these other people were like, it's how it's your business? I was like, no, this is a business and this is me. We are different persons. Meaning that the business starts its own life as a company and it can raise its own capital through different modules. Our brother was talking over the new initiatives in the PPDA. You cannot deal with government if you are a person. In any way, if you want to deal with a government, you must be a company registered. You must be a registered entity. That's the only way you can get opportunities and funds from government. And that's one way how you can get money from banks right now. Because they believe that we Ugandans, I don't know whether it's wrong or right, that many people are not credit worth. But at least a business can be. Because even when it falls under, okay, goes bad, business goes bad, they can do receivership. Getting some other independent person to collect funds from that business, that is kicking you out. And that is by law. So indeed, this is something that we should really work on as a country. To find it that large businesses should be registered, not just to help our country raise funds through the revenues, but also help us make business in a formal way and then work on our economic stability as a nation.
Thank you very much. I wanted to follow up and say, is farming a business?
Yes.
Can my grandmother say is in a business, Elvis? What do you think?
Yeah, of course, farming is a business. They can say they're engaging in a business of farming. If they now here it brings about aspect of running a business in business name or registering it as a company depending on the products and the produce you're giving and depending on the kind of contracts you engage into. So that's the basis of one to rely on to say that farming is a business, on how they want and they desire to run that particular business.
So the people who farm and then at the harvest, they have a quarter of the harvest sold, and then the remainder they use them for home consumption. Can we say they are in business?
Yeah, they are still in business. They are still in business. In
informal business.
Yes.
And the goal is to make it formal such that they move forward. We have a legal framework, and I want this to go to Ezra. The legal framework in which businesses operate. We've seen foreigners, we call them investors, coming from abroad, coming here establish businesses. Some establish in wetlands, some establish in industrial parks, some get tax holidays, and you see Ugandans are a little bit agitated. They say for us we don't have the same opportunities, we don't have the same. What is the current status of the law in terms of supporting investors?
Actually, on part of investors, it depends. It depends. There are those investors who are partnering, like who are owning some shares with Ugandan people. They might not face challenges in regards to those who are setting their own business. Then there are those coming in as foreign companies who are going to register in. Of course, they pass through the same procedure. They have to present their documents. Then for the investors, there is if you have been following, or we have been following, there is this ongoing under that Department of State House, under State House Investment Protection or Investors Protection Unit. And honestly, of course they are not, of course they are high, we can say as Ugandans, because sometimes we don't take deeper to understand why are they above us, why are they having more incentives than us, why are they being favored. But when you go like deep, like you can see that sometimes they are more smarter than we are, maybe on how we do our businesses. But in their formalization here, to get in line with our laws in Uganda, you find it hard. Some are being frauded, some are being not in line. So I think that unit is trying to help investors to establish companies here, and even our laws are somehow very accommodative in regards to establishment of their companies in the country.
I see Crispus wants to...
Yeah, may supplement on my brother's submission. You see, the ultimate goal about economic stability and business at large is that there must be production and then consumption. Those are the two dynamics that really move a nation. So when it comes to production, there are things that we as Ugandans cannot do, but they can be done by some people who we call investors. And that's what Europe does. When you're from USA and you Adidas, you want to set up, you want to distribute items in, maybe shoes in Germany. You cannot make shoes in USA and then distribute in Germany. The only way you can do that is by creating a subsidiary in Germany to produce in Germany and then sell in Germany. So what we need to work on is that we need to provide incentives to the investors to come into our country. Instead of them producing from wherever they come from, Europe or where, let them come and settle in here so that they can create employment and also contribute to the taxes. So the idea of putting up incentives specifically for them, well, even we Ugandans can access those incentives if we do our businesses formally, but then there are some incentives that are specifically available for the investors for that particular goal, to encourage them to come and do business here in our country.
A follow-up question on that. How does politics affect business? Because Ezer also submitted and said we have State House investment unit, what have you. We also have Ministry of Trade and Investment and all that. I think we have such entities, and the law has been, a little bit clear. And the president of this country has been complaining that there are people who disturb the investors. And at some point, he also said Parliament delays investors by asking for this and for that and for that. So how does politics affect business?
Politics and business, obviously, they are intertwined. You cannot separate the two. There are two tools that affect business. That is the monetary policy and then the fiscal policy. Now, to speak about the fiscal policy is directly from the government policies, the laws that the government makes. Initially, my comrade brother submitted on the National Development Plan. Now, we are in 4, which is 2025 financial year to 2029. So government has put up specific goals that they want to establish in this time period. So they will do whatever it takes by putting up laws that align with that vision. Because at the end of the term, the citizens will ask, what has the government done? So by having our Income Tax Act amended almost every year is in line to the fact that we need to put up laws that align to what we want as to what the people, because the government is with the people, what we want. So the leaders ultimately who we task to lead our nation will automatically put up policies that align to their agenda, to their goal. So politics is pivotal to business and development.
Okay, thank you. So Elvis, suppose you want to give direction in terms of streamlining investment, ensuring that the Ugandans enjoy the same protection as foreigners. But as Crispus has submitted, it appears we may need to give foreigners a little bit of protection as well, because there are some things that we cannot work on locally. What some of the policies that you would recommend to ensure that the local investors are protected, but at the same time we attract foreign investment, because we need it as well?
Okay, thank you with that question. Currently, the local investors and the foreign investors, those are in Uganda recognizes them as two different kinds of people, and as a colleague earlier submitted, they give them different incentives for their investments. So for both the local and the international to benefit out of this, which are the best policies to be implemented and to be put in place are that if the foreign investors, remember foreign investors to be coming into Uganda and to be attracted, we need to give them the tax holidays, various incentives from the government of Uganda, and like
sometimes give them land,
property to invest on and develop. A lot of things that are given to them to invest, and the reason for the locals to benefit along with the internationals, basically, we need first the locals need to put in an effort to create awareness to themselves in accordance to the laws and to the various government incentives that the programs government is planning to put up in place for the various businesses and investments. They should first of all be aware. After them being aware, the next thing they should remember, in this current Uganda 2025, awareness is key. The law has drastically changed, and a lot of online technology has developed in line with the business industry lately. So the locals to benefit, they have to as well invest in more. They have to at least invest and as well have strong business structures, because basically internally, leaving alone the external that business is affected politically, technologically, Also, the internal aspects matter a lot, that a person has a certain business structure that they set up to run their business. So they should depend on that to govern their business so well in that they can as well benefit, follow the legal principles, and as well basically follow the legal principles, register your business, pay taxes, and that's when you'll benefit from the government incentives that as well the government gives to the international investors, and as well you locals, you'll be able to benefit.
Thank you for following us. We are live on YouTube. You can join us on YouTube, and we'll be reading feedback from social media. We're also on Twitter. You can give us feedback from Twitter, from YouTube, and shortly I'll be getting to your feedback and reading it. I see some questions have come through. I'll be posing those questions later on. I want to come to Ezra. We have East African community now. We've seen in the recent week Tanzania banning foreigners. They call them foreigners. I don't know that we are still foreigners even when we are in East African community. They have banned foreigners from doing some kind of businesses in Tanzania. And yet, we have already signed the Common Market Protocol. How is that possible? Is business still safe under the East African community? Because my understanding would be that under the Common Market Protocol, we are free to trade anywhere and without any limitation. Is that so? Is that the status? Is that the position of the law? And what is on the ground?
Thank you so much. Maybe, and I thank you for bringing this question at this moment, since we have already discussed the establishment of companies in the country. Maybe you asked this one about like the recommendations, and we were talking about the foreigners. Since now we are going to East African community, majorly. Recently we have just seen, as you have just stated, banning of small businesses in Tanzania by maybe East Africans who are called foreigners. But the other day, we also saw the president of Uganda and the president of Kenya signing some MOUs in respect to where they enlightened us that it is about agriculture and market and trade. So the best answer would be, are we adhering to the East African Treaty? Are we still in the objectives of EAC? Is Uganda, even in the development plans, when you see, as we stated it, that we lack awareness. Of course, it starts from the Supreme Law that Article 4 is very clear, but who knows about it? Article is very clear. Then when we go from Article 4, maybe awareness of the Constitution, then we go to Article 125 about National Planning Authority. Does every Ugandan know about that there is National Planning Authority, or even National Planning Authority Act, and even regulations? So from there, people, when they are like, we are lacking that information that they plan, this country planned to enter into EAC. What are the shortcomings? What are the benefits? How are we going to treat that ban from EAC? Is it because, and I still, maybe I would appreciate Council Kalari, it's called Kalari Stephen, yes, who petitioned Attorney General of Tanzania about this ban. Of course, it detriments the aspect of common market of East Africa. COMESA is in vain. If you are saying that no boundaries, we should go everywhere. And if you can recall, our Minister of East African Affairs, some like 2 years back, they gave us a prospect that we can have East African Union money monetized, that East Africa shall have common currency. So how is it going to operate when you are banning my business?
In fact, I think the deadline for that has been extended for some time now.
Yes, you can see.
We are supposed to be having a common currency as of now.
Exactly. So those are the things. They are bringing in many things. There is AFCTA, African Free Continental Trade Area. Those are the things that we should tap in, and they have pool of resources, and they benefit the country and even in the region. But are the policies working out? If they are not working out, what is the repercussion? Now that one comes to the question you raised to this gentleman, that are the politics affecting the business? Yes, it is true to some extent. If you see the Turkana aspect on our side, the Turkana area and the border, our Kenyan border and Sudan border and Ethiopia, that wrangle, it cannot allow. And you find that the major source is political aspect. If I can take you the recent discussion that has been ongoing, the Valaro question, it is you find that it is a political effect that will bring economic effect that either destabilizing business or even not facilitating it at all. So, like, honestly, I can say that point of Tanzania to ban small enterprises, it is not within the law means of East African, and even not in the spirit of East African community.
Thank you very much. Crispus, East African community, gentlemen, you're lawyers, and the other professionals, maybe teachers and accountants and what have you. What the East African community means and where we are would mean that you as a lawyer can move to a different country and be able to practice your profession. Okay, maybe pursuant to some other requirements and all that. But if I want to go and work in Tanzania, in Kenya, in Rwanda, and I have got my entry into that country, I should be able to be employed without being disturbed. Where is the work permit? Where is and all that and all that. That's what a common market means, and free movement of labor and all that. But I want to understand from Crispus, what are the challenges? Why is it that we are struggling to reach that point in East Africa? And again, I want you to join that with the idea that we can sell in East Africa. I have coffee. Can I sell it in Kenya? Coffee right now in Uganda prices are a little bit low compared to the previous months. Can I go to Kenya and sell my coffee there without someone at the border saying, where are you taking this merchandise? And what are the challenges? What can we do and what can't we do in that line?
Thank you, Vianney. The founders or the people who initiated this idea of a common market had a good vision. Indeed, it's really good because when we talk about production, you also have to look at the consumption. And then consumption means income per capita and then the numbers. So as Uganda, we needed to have a bigger consumption area. So having other comrades in East Africa join us in this free trade, free movement, free business was really a nice idea. Though it is really challenging, given the fact that there is politics at play. And then, policies, as I am an international law scholar, and one thing that is well known about international law, which ideally regional laws also follow, is that it's not very easy to enforce them. Because here, if it's national law, you can put police and, it can't happen. But there's no way as you, Kenya or Uganda, you can enforce something in Tanzania. So there's some aspect of autonomy. You cannot decide for Tanzania.
Pacta sunt servanda.
Exactly. You can't. I mean, you can't. Just doing that, you are joking with somebody's sovereignty. So if we want to achieve that, I think we need to give power to the East African Parliament and also the East African Court of Justice. If those two institutions have power and then they can enforce their judgments, then it can be easily done.
What's the current status? I've seen lawyers go to East African Court of Justice and they have made decisions. If the East African Court of Justice makes a decision, for example, it says that Tanzania, like how the good lawyer you mentioned, Elvis and Ezra mentioned earlier, once has made a decision and said you cannot ban citizens, East African citizens, from doing such kinds of businesses. How can I enforce that? Is it possible?
You see that's the same question that has been asked on the international level, that if ICJ says that you as Congo, you cannot do this to Uganda, how do you enforce that? So the challenge is in the enforceability. Enforcement of that is really challenging, and that's the biggest challenge. Otherwise, everyone can see the injustice when it's done. But then the question is that, how do we curb the injustice?
Okay, thank you very much. We have feedback coming in from social media, and Chichoncho Agnes is asking Elvis. He says, Elvis, thank you for the good presentation. What do we do to prevent brain drain for top business experts? You want to pick that up?
All right, to pick that up, brain drain for business experts, what I understand, if I try to understand what her question meant,
because by brain drain, she means that there are top talents leaving the country to go for greener pastures.
Yes, yeah, I understand.
So how can we prevent that?
Brain drain, first of all, in the Uganda aspect, the issue with brain drain, people who are experts in Uganda in various business fields of various expertise, they leave Uganda. That's what she's trying to mean. So to curb that down and to prevent that, basically people are looking for greener pastures. What do greener pastures mean? Better employment and better well-being. They are looking for better well-being, right? So in Uganda, when you look at the employment opportunities people have, the way people generate income, the way businesses are managed, because let me give an example, experts in, let me say which field in the business industry. Let me give an example. Okay, the music industry. They can be expert producers who are so good, and you end up seeing him leave the country and let him join another club in another industry or sign in another label, which is not in Uganda. That means he's looking for greener pastures. The issue comes with them having opportunities and the money making. So if Uganda invests in those various industries, like let me say how they changed the education sector, whereby they increased the fees, they increased their payment for science teachers. Let them put incentives for the music industry, let them be included in the budget, be provided for money to improve it, the film industry, because you'll see movie directors. Recently, the author of the Katoto magazine, who was recently he studied from abroad, he was working with Netflix. You get, so if he didn't have the Ugandan heart to return back,
it would be
in
tough.
Uganda, it would be tough. So basically, the government should look out for those various industries to prevent the brain drainage.
Thank you. We have more feedback. Mugain Joseph is on. We have Mpungu Ronald. Mpungu Ronald is live, and he says our chairman Kakande. Kakande is also a chairman. Good. We have Winnie Mularo. He's saying Kakande, you got this. Chichoncho Agnes is asking Ezra, how can we ensure that the law protects more of local investors than foreign ones who instead repatriate profits? I think that's an important idea, especially with multinational companies. How can we compete? In the telecom business, for example, telecom companies make a lot of profits. If you have seen their financial statements every end of year, how can we have local investors protected just as foreign investors, especially in terms of guarding profit repatriation? Or can we have the foreigners, can we stop them from repatriating profits? Is there any law?
Thank you so much, and I thank Agnes. She's twisting us in the line that we should check our systems. And on that aspect, maybe how I could answer her is that we need like a change of policy formulations, like as a country. And if you have been saying, like they be talking they be talking about value addition. Maybe how we can be protected, like we should start to add value on our products in whatever we are producing for us to compete with local with foreigners. But those foreigners, for them to have low bid or not to repatriate, it comes out to the national level, to the government level, on the policies that are being put in place.
Thank you very much. Again, Agnes has another question for Crispus, and is asking, how can a common farmer be enabled legally to sell and buy from the world market? And where is the world market found? I don't know, it's part of
to tackle that, for a local farmer, basically the issue that comes into play is sensitization. What degree of awareness do they have with the issues concerning the world market? That's the starting point. And after seeing how they can participate in the market, that's when you start finding ways of, if they want to import something, if they want to engage into exporting, how are they supposed to engage into the market exporting? Because now, 2025, as I said earlier, online systems have been established whereby tracking systems are on for all goods going either abroad or coming into, or it needs paying taxes. Everything has nowadays been simplified. You get? So basically, if that person is aware concerning how everything is done, then they can participate in the industry. But the key issue here with that person has to be awareness.
Thank you. So, Crispus, you are an international law scholar. You already told us. And sharing with Agnes the same fears. Right now, prices of coffee, like I had said, are going low. They are reducing. And the excuses are that worldwide, in the world market, the prices are getting low. So the question is, how can one interact with the world market? Where is it found?
Now,
and do we all have that opportunity to go in the world market and sell or buy?
That's a very good question. You see
where this comes from is that in our villages, there are places we know. The market for Nyamayenje is here. The market for is found here. Every Thursday we got this market. So the world market, proceed.
You want to look for the world market. Yeah. Anyway, you see, Vianney, one thing about business and specifically farming, I want to draw this discussion to the aspect of coffee. Before, initially, you see, the coffee market was around $2.5 billion. And on that market, the largest, one of the largest producers of coffee, Uganda is one of them. But we are not taking any share on that market, simply because we are exporting raw material. We just getting coffee and then putting it away. So one way of how we can tap into that market is trying to build on what we produce. I mean, we are moving from the aspect of traditional farming whereby you produce and sell. You can add value. Value addition is essential. Now, if we are dealing with coffee, let's move from the aspect of just picking coffee from the gardens and then selling it. Maybe we can do something on it. We can process it. And in that, we are attracting market. I know it may not be easy because it cannot be done in a day, but this is a country. We are moving. We have an agenda of Vision 2040. You never know, by the time we come to 2035, we have some processing industries, and that's one way of how you can join the world market in the way that you can export. Ideally, I think that's what she made, because world market is exporting, and I'm Kakando Crispus from Nakaseke. I can sell something in China, maybe. That is really a good deal, and it's much possible if we can add value to what we produce. Because we are blessed with good lands, we can produce variety of crops that other nations or other geographical areas cannot produce. So we just have to do better on what we produce, the quality, and then the value that we are putting to the world.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, we have a few minutes. I'm going to give a minute to each one of you to have conclusive remarks, because we are coming to the end of this show. So I'll start with Ezra, your final remarks.
Thank you so much. And I hope that we keep up these discussions. Of course, when we were growing up, we were hearing about law, that there are laws. I think it is now a mandate of an educated citizen, maybe to teach about those who are coming in, or maybe to make awareness on how far and on what we know. And basically on the discussions, I implore that all young people, or even the older people, they have businesses, those who have and those who don't have. Let's formalize, let's form one, let's try our best, and then if we go on the side, because we know that when we formalize, there are those people who are coming after us. Now I'm going to those people who are coming after us.
Thank you very much. Yes,
thank you
Crispus.
so much. Those are my words.
Thank you very much. Crispus, over to you.
Mr. Vianney and our dear viewers, mine majorly will go to the 75% of the population. That is the youth. As the youth, we are blessed with the fact that we are coming to this world at such a time where enlightenment is on the rise and technology is on the rise. So it's incumbent upon us to use the policies that are in existence to come up with something better than what the old millennials have done. This calls for integrating the law into the business we do. And in that way, I think we shall be moving in the right direction and gearing towards our vision of 2040.
Thank you very much. Crispus, yes. Elvis, over to you.
My final remarks, according to the discussion we have had tonight, is that looking at the layman capacity of how they categorize business, is that start up, get a shop, and then start running. So sometimes there are issues or problems that might happen whereby you might need legal help and legal support, which you are unaware about. So this is to implore to all citizens of Uganda that ignorance of the law shall not defend you, whereby you need to inquire from legal personnel or your lawyers where necessary, you get. And again, in addition to that, after inquiring, for you to be protected, at least you do it before and make research or inquiries even before the problems happen, so that you protect the interests of yourself and the interests of your company and assets, if any, for the proper managing of everything associated with with your business. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elvis. Thank you, my guests. Today we were hosting Ezra Nwahola, a lawyer from the Law Development Center, Crispus Kakande, a lawyer from the Law Development Center, and Elvis Vasajawaka, a lawyer from the Law Development Center. Thank you for being with us from 9 p.m. up to 10 p.m. This is U24 Television, the National Youth Development. The checkpoint comes to you every Tuesday, 9 p.m. up to 10 p.m. And the checkpoint is where truth is spoken and voices are heard. My name is John Vianney. Thank you for being with us this evening. Cinema is next at 10 p.m. See you next Tuesday.
Up almost every time.
Bumpy! Again! What's this drama?
I'm feeling really sick.
Permission to come aboard.
I'm feeling really sick.
you.